Today let's cover how to install a Honda trailer hitch harness. This will be installed on a 2014 Honda Odyssey minivan. I showed you how to install the hitch itself in another video, so you may want to check out that one too. I want this installed to be like the factory or dealer would do, so this will be using the actual Honda parts kit. I ordered the kit and will have a link to it in the description below. So let's get started. To start, we'll remove the negative lead off the battery to ensure there are no issues as we work with the wiring. Before you disconnect the battery, raise the rear liftgate because we'll need access to that area of the van. There are two clips that we can pop up with a flat screwdriver. Then we'll remove the clips and the air duct. That provides access to the battery, and we can remove the lead and make sure that it won't contact the battery. Note that you either need to have the security code or just press the power button for a few seconds to recover your radio presets when you're done. I was able to just press the power button after I was done to get the radio functional again. I still had to reset the clock, but everything else was still there. The bulk of the work is removing panels to have access to the factory wiring harnesses. The first panel to remove is the sill by the sliding door on the driver's side. Carefully pull the panel up and set aside. In the back of the van, we need to remove the rear trim panel. There are two threaded hooks that need to be removed to free the panel. I'll use the pliers and cloth to turn the hooks to prevent scratching them. Slide the weather stripping away from that panel and carefully pull the panel away from the car body. If you have the Odyssey with a vacuum cleaner, it and the covers should be removed now. I don't have a built-in vacuum cleaner, so I'll move forward to removing the trim panel on the driver's side. There is another threaded hook to remove, and I'll also move the weather stripping away and unplug the connector to the 12-volt plug. The large interior panel is challenging to remove to avoid any damage to the connectors. Lower the back seat into the floor to get to the bottom of the panel. Very carefully work your way around the panel to loosen it from the clips. It was about this time that I was wondering if I should really do this myself. It would be easy to damage the panel or connectors, so work really carefully and with caution to prevent any damage. With some patience, eventually you can pull it away from the body and set it aside. Next, we need to remove the rear bumper. To protect the paint, put painter's tape on both sides of the joint. Then we can remove the hex bolts on the inside of the van, the screws in the wheel well, and the clips underneath the bumper. Then get a helper and gently pull each side away from the vehicle. Removing all the panels turns out to be most of the work, but now we can actually move on to installing the new components. Now let's install the socket harness. One end will be outside on the hitch to connect with the trailer. So let's remove the grommet plug in the back of the vehicle. Now we can thread the assembly through the hole and install its grommet. We'll remove the backing and place the adhesive foam tape against the body above the entry hole to protect the wiring. The harness will be attached to the existing wiring with 3 cable ties and rest on that foam tape. Moving on to the control unit harness, we'll plug in one end to the socket harness we just installed. Then attach the ground to the existing ground location by removing the bolt, adding the terminal, and reinstalling the bolt. Let's route the control unit harness along the existing wiring. We'll attach it to the existing wires with about 6 cable ties. The 14-pin connector is installed in the open spot in the fuse box. I don't have backup sensors, but if you do, unplug the existing connector from that spot in the fuse box into the other connector on the harness, and then put the connector harness in the fuse box location. Now we'll install the control unit. We'll start by putting it on the bracket in the kit. Then remove the mounting bolt on the front side of the fuse box and mount the control unit and bracket. The control unit 12-pin connector will be installed in the control unit. Let's also attach that to the existing wires with a cable tie. There are 3 fuses with the kit. One 10 amp and 2 7.5 amp fuses. We'll put those in now. The 10 amp fuse goes in the last spot on the right in the second row of the fuse box. One of the 7.5 amp fuses goes in the same row as the 10 amp but in the second spot from the left. The other 7.5 amp fuse goes in the next row down in the center spot. Now we get the satisfying part of bolting the socket harness to the trailer hitch. First we'll snap the clip on the wire into the hole in the mounting arm, then bolt the harness to the hitch. I tested the harness pins with a multimeter to make sure everything was working with the brakes and turn signals applied. Then we still need to put all the panels back on in the reverse order that they were taken off. That was much easier than removing them, but you still need to be very careful not to damage anything. So now we've installed a Honda trailer hitch harness kit, and we are ready to connect to a trailer light system when needed. I hope that was helpful to understand how to install the hitch wiring harness kit. Please like and subscribe to the channel and let me know your experiences installing or using trailer wiring harnesses in the comments below. Thanks for watching.